Now, I know that Colorado has always allowed early voting, but it wasn't this early. This was way early voting.
The voting procedures in Colorado are complicated because of the instant runoff thing.
My opponent set up an early voting booth next to his office in City Hall. Then he scheduled appointments with registered voters who had business with the city.
Now, just a moment. Am I supposed to believe that you lost the election to become mayor of a small town in Colorado because your opponent unethically arranged for a steady stream of registered voters to pass an early voting station outside the incumbent's office at City Hall?
But I was under no obligation to vote for anybody. It's just sour grapes. Wait your turn, lady. When you become mayor in the next election, you can set up an early voting booth next to your office at City Hall. And you can be reelected by 177 votes, too.
Every system can be gamed.
Are you trying to void the election results?
I am not trying to void the results. I am calling for transparency and fair election procedures.
She's a troublemaker. She should shut up.
Of course they're slandering me. They can't afford to let the ballots be verified.
If instant runoff elections spread to other towns, it could become a trend. So it is very important to know how it can be gamed.
We can verify voter intention against the number of votes certified by the city clerk.
How dare you slander the reputation of the city clerk?
If the vote tabulations have to be correct, a whole other class of people are going to get elected. Developer contracts with the city will go out to people who don't know how to win elections. Think about that.
Welcome to Better Bad News. Half true, more or less 100% of the time.
I can't tell you the kind of character assassination that goes on in a small town when you lose an election by 177 votes and ask to verify that the ballots were tabulated correctly.
She's a troublemaker.
Beat that person to a pulp with a hockey stick.
Mayor Ireland has ways of dealing with troublemakers. She thinks she's smarter than everybody else.
ASPEN resembles Tora Bora in many respects.
Beatings will continue until morale improves.
When the mayor shook my hand and said his goodbyes, he walked me past an early voting booth next to his office and mentioned that he hoped to still be in office in January when my contract with the city is up for renewal. There was a very long line of people waiting for their appointment with the mayor outside his office in City Hall next to the early voting booth. So I voted early.
Who would benefit from that?
Terrorists could hack the system. Aspen, Colorado could be attacked with a deadly strain of something. Do we want to provide a safe haven for Al-Qaeda in Colorado?
That's why the ballots are supposed to be shuffled, to protect voter piracy. If the elections were fair, it would eventually destroy the two-party system as we know it, and third parties would gain traction. Is that sustainable?
Something else is going on that we don't know about. What the voters intended, because it is intentionally hidden from view. If the elections weren't rigged eventually, white Christians will become a minority, and the next mayor is going to give Colorado back to Mexico.
We want something else entirely.
That's what will happen if the ballots have anything to do with voter intention.
Election integrity can be used as an argument to keep the ballots from being used as evidence in court.
When is the panel going to realize complaining doesn't work?
What are we supposed to do?
It is time to start really living what we believe.
So stop talking about it, and I will see you at the barricades.
Now we must overturn the table.
Hey, I am not calling for a revolution. I am calling for transparency.
Maybe I can vote for change in the next election.
No one believes in such outcomes anymore.
We have to occupy everything.
Occupy everything!
Sometimes chaos can spin out of control.
occupy everything.